In this video, you will learn about a singer who quit music after performing at a Jinn's wedding. This story is well known in the Arab world, but many do not know of this. Jinn can take many forms, and we could even interact with them without even knowing. In the 90s, there was a popular singer in Kuwait called Noura. She was a famous wedding singer, known for her beautiful voice, who was requested to perform in weddings in Kuwait and even outside of the country. One day in 1997, she received a phone call from a woman who asked her to perform at her daughter's wedding for a huge fee. She agreed to perform at the wedding and informed her band. On the day of the wedding, she went with her band, which included 6 other women. When they reached the location, they found many cars and people around a villa which was well lit with wedding decorations. To this point, everything seemed to be normal for a wedding scene. They were taken to a room to prepare and get ready for the wedding. Once they started to perform, they noticed the amount of people increasing to the point where the room was packed to the brim. Women were approaching Noura and the band members, kissing them on the cheeks and thanking them for making the night a memorable one. At midnight, the band decided to go to a room for a break. A band member at this point approached Noura and asked her, "Did you find anything strange? Something doesn't feel right. Like when the women approached us, their skin was rough and their body temperature seemed extremely hot." Noura also felt something was strange, but she didn't want the band to worry and told them there's nothing to worry about and the people are just excited and hot because of all the dancing. She wanted them to stay calm so it wouldn't affect their performance and finish the night in a professional manner. They went back to continue the performance. However, this time they noticed that the women had started to dance hysterically and in a frantic way, which did not seem normal. They also noticed that the feet of the women did not appear to be human. The doubts of the band members that something was strange now seemed more valid. They began to panic and look at each other in fear to the point that their voices became shaky and was affecting their performance. Noura started to sing louder and looking into the eyes of the band members as if to say, "Just continue as normal." One of the band members couldn't take it anymore and had fainted. One of the attendees of the wedding approached Noura and asked, "What's wrong with her? Why has she fainted?" Noura replied, "We've been attending a lot of weddings recently. She must be exhausted and overwhelmed. Let me take her to the room and give her water to refresh." Noura took the woman who had fainted to the room. The band member said to Noura in a panic, "She doesn't want to be there anymore. She wants to leave." She said, "You know these people are not human." Noura replied, "We are at a Jinn's wedding. We can't leave now, otherwise they can harm us. We have to be patient and stay until Fajr." Noura had convinced the band member to continue, so they returned to the other members to resume the performance. The time now was almost approaching Fajr, and they noticed the amount of people in attendance was starting to reduce, and the dancing had started to slow down. All of a sudden, the lights went out and they were in total darkness. The band were terrified and started screaming in fear. Noura started reciting Quran to herself. She then told her band members, "If we want to make it out of this situation, we have to compose ourselves and leave this place at once." They exited the villa and saw an old man heading towards the mosque for Fajr prayer. At first they thought he was also a Jinn, however he wasn't. He looked at them in shock and asked them, "What are you doing in this place at this time?" Noura replied, "We've been performing at a wedding at this villa behind us." The old man replied, "What villa?" Noura turned around to see an old abandoned house with no cars and no wedding decorations. The old man said, "This house has been abandoned for over 10 years, and no one dares to approach it, as locals sometimes hear loud screams coming from there. So now it had become clear that they had indeed performed at a Jinn's wedding. From that point onwards, Nora decided to quit singing and never perform again. She did an interview later explaining why she doesn't sing anymore and shared this story. However, the video cassette it was recorded on disappeared mysteriously, but the story had been shared by her to family members and close friends who spread the story further. It is important that we as Muslims take the necessary steps to protect ourselves from the jinn and black magic. If you would like a video on how to protect yourself or the actions which you should avoid to keep safe, let us know in the comments.